I mean, the guy plays Silhouette almost perfectly, I have to say. Going back to the initial first blind bans, it seems that Hellborn a little bit out of the meta, honestly. Ended up banning the Kronos Moon Queen, obviously heroes that were particularly good in the old meta, but obviously maybe missed the memo on the Kronos and Moon Queen nerfs. But obviously we see the Cthulhu most likely be playing on the Suicide or with Smexy style. But even just normally the normal heroes as well, picking up for the Hellborn side, a little bit, out of the meta in a sense. Pestilence obviously got those nerfs as well. Engineer, not the biggest of heroes, but Fabello Soulstealer, quite a signature hero for him as well. So Hellborn maybe a little bit old in terms of the meta, but in the sense sort of maybe just drafting to something they feel comfortable with. After all, they are sort of legends in a sense. Haven't been around the Hon scene all too recently, but just eventually getting back into Honsol Season 3. So looking for a good game and an interesting one at that.
Yeah, and that's what you gotta really expect at some points, is that you are going to be looking at players that are really just playing what they're comfortable with. And for some of these guys that haven't been around in a while, maybe they're not comfortable getting into the new meta just yet, but we'll see how good the guys from Potato can do. As far as the guys from Instant Reflex go, I mean, your squad's been playing in just about every tournament that they possibly can for the last months. So
Yeah.
very in tune with the meta, TMM, and of course all that as well. So they've got that Silhouette and Cthulhu in the Suicide lane. Smexy style already doing work up there, and I'm going to be interested to see how Fabelli and Way Too Gray here on the Torture are actually going to be able to function in this short lane.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to point out already, look at the difference between Krebson on the Kraken and Smexy style on the Cthulhu. You see how more aggressive Cthulhu is able to play. Actually, bottom lane Krebson can get in trouble. He might be falling here, first blood.
Yeah.
One more attack if you can get it.
No, able to get the health potion off, so very close, and not quite having the health potion interrupted, but I mean, it's just the difference of the heroes. Like,
Yeah. Like you see, like Cthulhu can play just such more aggressive in Rhapsody, completely boxing out the Kraken, whereas Cthulhu, he's almost having free lane in this lane. Look how far up he is, and he's just not afraid to take the auto attacks coming from Solsticer and Torturer. He's picked up the Iron Shield already, and he's doing so much better than the Krebson simply because of the hero he's got. You see he's been an annoyance as well, blocking the pull camp as well. Engineer taking the top rune. He might even be rotating over to try and kill this Cthulhu. Yeah, he might be in trouble here, Smexstar. He's not careful.
Yeah, gonna have to be indeed quite careful. He does not have boots or anything along those lines, and he is gonna spot the Engineer. Fabelli is still coming up, but unfortunately misses the keg, and immediately you're gonna see the Hellborn team start to fall back, no longer interested in actually getting anything done right there. But you've also got to look at not only the differences between Kraken and Cthulhu, but also the heroes that they're working with as well. I mean, Soulstealer, when he comes in a lane hitting for 45, he's not nearly as much of a threat as Marcus Moy is here on the Silhouette, who's just going to be stacking up those deadly salvo charges and doing tons upon tons of damage with double stuns here, combined with the Rhapsody. So.
Yeah, and we saw him, he dropped down the Kraken as well. Actually, Kraken getting rather aggressive onto the Akami on the Ophelia, actually. Might be picking up this Vulture Lord as well. That's going to be a big deal, honestly, getting that neutral character. I mean, look at it. He's now equal, really, in terms of GPM for the Cthulhu, really. He's actually rotating mid. Might try and sit out on the Magnus. I was going to say before, actually, obviously, you see Hellborn not running a jungler, so the XP is just slightly in favour in terms of instant reflex. They're going in stun onto the Magnus, but they can't really close the distance. I mean, Pestilence obviously has the stun, but he can't really get in distance. Obviously not on Magnus. Kraken might be in trouble here. We have Ophelia and Rhapsody rotating over. Kraken might be in trouble.
Yeah, with no Ophelia minion, there shouldn't be a whole lot that can be done. Kraken should be able to just waddle on out of there, and he's got the charge available if he really does need to use it. But putting a little bit of pressure onto Nyes here. Is that how you say it, Mr. X-Team Captain?
Yeah, it's like, Nyes, yeah, it's the same. I'm not really particularly familiar with this player. I haven't really played with him. He's a new recruit really for instant reflex, but yeah, I'd assume it's about right.
Well, maybe you don't have the inside scoop after all. What good are you anyway then, Mini Maggot?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think this is the player that sort of replaced me after I stepped down, so all too familiar. I'm sorry, Beef. I failed you. clearly an upgrade. Damn, shots fired. You see Engineer rotating here to the top lane. It has the DD. They're already putting pressure into this tier 1 tower. I don't think Instant Reflex can really do much about it. I mean, obviously Ophelia can't rotate over. It doesn't have a TP, and Rhapsody doesn't have the money to TP either. And Magnus is busy farming mid, so I'm assuming this tier 1 tower is eventually going to be dropping. But Cthulhu doing as much as he can to really sort of delay this push as much as possible. I mean, at the same time though, I mean, grouping up with 3 players this early on, look at the experience lead. They're really quite suffering, quite far behind. 1.5k ahead for Instant Reflex, but yeah, this tier 1 is going to be falling, pushing Potato, or Team Potato, further ahead in terms of gold, but they're sort of trading gold for XP at the moment. And obviously I think in the early game, I think experience is definitely favoured, particularly for the early team fights. I would have actually liked to see maybe Akami put some pressure in the bottom tier 1 whilst the 2 supports were up in the top lane.
Marcus
okay.
Wow, that was just a situation where Marcus was pretty much deciding that he was going to try to kill Kraken and got real up close to Kraken. Kraken gets off a beautiful charge and a big auto attack, and all of a sudden you got a dead silhouette. So
Okay, that's really rare, honestly. Like, normally Marcus in lane is very strong. The one issue I already have with Instant Reflex now is that I know Marcus, I know he doesn't like to admit it, but he does sometimes go on point, particularly if he gets, has a bad start. He really does have trouble getting back into the game. Maybe he gets a little bit too frustrated and makes, the worst play. Top lane actually, Cthulhu might be in trouble as well. He's manning up on the Soul Stealer. He might be in trouble actually.
And the auto attacks are going to be coming in here. The bottle charges are going from Fibelli, and Fibelli should be able to turn it around with a hand, and there it is. So Smexy Style just not able to close the distance as a result of the boots, and that's really what gave him the space.
Yeah, I mean, a few misplays, honestly, I have to say. Like, coming a little bit, they're so close to really getting the kills, but in the end, it really shows that the Legends really have the experience over them. Just maybe having that cooler head to really turn the difference in terms of the laning phase. They're going to maybe try and set something up here with the Torture and Engineer. Pestilence still can't really close that gap, though. Another really issue with the Pestilence. Kind of hard to gank with. He needs that setup stun, and Engineer's not really able to close the distance either. Rhapsody invisible here might try and even set up for the Magnus in the middle lane. But yeah, I have to say, like, this Ophelia hasn't really offered that too much. I mean, Akami, I know himself, like, he's a great Ophelia player, but I just think maybe Ophelia isn't really the strongest in this meta game. Really haven't really been able to do much in terms of ganking or pushing. Only level 4, 7 minutes in, honestly quite so they're going in actually on the Kraken misses his charge.
Yeah, charges right into the tower there, and they're able to take out Krebson, so that's a pretty big kill right there for them, and definitely something that the guys from Instant Reflex needed. Back into the middle lane, though, it looks like Nice is going to be able to get away from Vagina Thief, who I'm being told, I believe, is owned me. So just a clarification on the roster here. Earlier today, we had been fed some information that Noobg, Minuts and Zibby were going to be a part of this team, and originally Zibby was part of this team. But he's actually just departed because he's joined as a full-time member of Bad Monkey Gaming as a newest replacement player for them. As up top, Cthulhu is trying to get away. It's not going to happen, though. Torture with the impalement. Going to be able to set up that kill. So Zibby no longer part of this team. Noobg is part of the team, but he's not here today. Minuts is completely not part of the team. That was either misinformation or a troll. But the players that you are looking at right here, Krebson, Fibelli, Way Too Easy, aka Way Too Bray, TPS Priceless here on the Engineer, as well as Owned Me, that is currently on the Pestilence. So definitely still some very familiar names from the last couple years of competitive Han.
Top lane.
And top lane, yeah, Fibelli's in some trouble. Lava Surge is available, and gonna be able to get a Lava Surge onto 2. Cthulhu gets the stun onto 2. Into the Eruption, extremely well played right here. But here comes Ownby, gonna be able to get the stun. Down goes Rhapsody. There's another Lava Surge available from Magnus, and I think Ownby's gonna be in a lot of trouble. And yeah, Ownby's toast. Engineer gonna be trying to get out of there. Cthulhu's done just a little bit too far away. And NG's able to get out, but that was exactly what Instant Reflex needed, is they even it up at 4-4.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought they might be going a little bit on tilt. Talked about how Marcus Moore, if he doesn't really get like the absolute free from, he can really get a little bit aggravated, because he's like a through and through carry player. Like, he's always used to that, 400 GPM almost in lane all the time. So a little bit of a misplay can really sort of put him on tilt. I've seen it before. I've played with him obviously, but hopefully that doesn't happen. He's somewhat recovering after that first death to the Kraken. Actually, Kraken might be in trouble. Rhapsody coming in with the silhouette.
Yeah, Kraken will try to turn this one around, actually, with the assistance of his double support players. And Silhouette going to be falling back rather than trying to get continually aggressive here. And Ophelia Ultimate going to be going off. Rhapsody does fall, though. And I think that Torture should die here. Yeah, in fact, the auto attacks could be coming in. Magnus, with a stun, could have perhaps gotten the kill on the Kraken, but that's a speedy Kraken. Waddling away with this full steam boots.
Yeah, going back to really, I think the main issue here for Instant Reflex is this Ophelia. I mean, I know Akame is a really, really strong Ophelia player, but he just really hasn't had the most impact after really the nerf to Ophelia. It's something I never honestly used to like to draft when I was in Instant Reflex, because I think with Ophelia you almost need to go an all-in sort of strategy, and obviously this isn't the sort of the strategy that is an all-in. Obviously we've got Silhouette, Magnus, Torture might be in trouble. No, he cannot. Magnus can't really get the stun off, but yeah, I mean, like Ophelia just doesn't really offer that much in terms of this lineup. I mean, he has successfully done one gank onto the Kraken, but only 200 GPM 10 minutes in. It just isn't something really that is needed for this jungler. I mean, even a secondary support can maybe at bottom lane actually though. TP coming in.
And Marcus really wants to get this tower kill. Does successfully get it, but Mag is probably going to pay for this one. No, able to Lava Surge on away. And it looks like he will survive. Up in the top lane, Cthulhu's doing his best to try to defend the defensive tower here. It is in deny range, but Fabelli's saying, I'm going to stick here, and I'm going to challenge you the entire time for this tower. I'm going to wait for one more creep wave to come in, and we'll try it. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, looks like Marcus Moy and his Illusion are in some trouble. And unfortunately, the guys from Instant Reflex calling out some lag right there, as they do need to pause.
The usual, I died and it was lag. No, I'm joking. I think it was actually the equivalent who was lagging anyway. But yeah, Marcus getting picked off there, which is another thing I sort of like, he's a little bit until maybe this is happening, but I really don't think you should be dying. I mean, obviously you see the 4 players bottom lane, either you go as 5 and take the team for, or you make sure you do not be able to get caught out, because you're just really rewarding the team that's grouping up, obviously the Hellborn side, if you get picked off. And I mean, it's just something that shouldn't really happen. His Silhouette has the mobility and easily can just stay far enough back. They don't really have portal keys yet on the Pestilence or Kraken, and honestly it's just a misplay that shouldn't happen, coming out from Marcus and Moy.
Oh god, the Viva Peru. I'm just like, what is going on over here? But the Viva Peru spams are in, and well, it's some amount of trolling coming out right here. Cthulhu reconnecting once more, and hopefully this works out for Smexy.
Back into this game, but I don't think actually Instant Reflex can really defend this tower after Silhouette just getting picked off, and that's the one issue. Like we talked about actually in the last series, how that one pickup can lead to such a chain of events that can really put one team behind, and I think it's going to be the same here. They're most likely going to be able to take this tier 1 bottom with Hellborn, because Silhouette's only up in 30 seconds. Cthulhu cannot get the deny up in top of the lane, with Fabelli getting the last hit, and it's not looking all that too well, honestly, for Instant Reflex. It feels like they're just getting a little bit outplayed.
Gonna need to channel a big eruption here. Like, if he can get off a big eruption at the same time as a TPN, like, they could probably defend that. But instead, the Hellborn team saying, we don't necessarily need to push that. We're just gonna go ahead, take a little bit of map control, and make an adventure happen in your jungle. And now Rhapsody is in a lot of trouble. This is Red Boots Rhapsody. But no, doesn't look like the Hellborn actually want to engage on her, so she will walk away relatively unharmed. Can't say the same for the tier 1 tower mid.
Yeah, I actually think they might be able to defend this. I mean, Hellborn don't really have the quickest of pushing teams. They don't really have like any kind of pushing mechanism. They don't have like a Tempest or an Ophelia, or even, I mean, they do have the Torturer, but it's just no minion-based kind of push, which is always going to be a lot slower. And with Magnus sort of coming in with an eruption, it could definitely easily form a resistance here in the middle lane, so they do decide to back off. But yeah, just like going back to this Ophelia, I just think it's honestly lackluster. If they had a different jungler, maybe like a Tempest or even a Parasite to end up with a few more ganks, or even like a secondary support to help Magnus in the middle lane, because obviously Magnus actually was 1v2 if you cast your eye back, and yet he's still 300 GPM. Imagine if he had like a sat support from level 1, and that could be a complete different sort of story. But in the meantime, actually, the engineer might be in trouble. I think he might have been caught, actually, or might have been seen. He's just going to TP out, actually, so good play. Coming out from... Who's the engineer again? Can't remember the name.
That is TPS Priceless.
TPS Priceless, yeah. He doesn't have a hatchet on him, so can't be sure if that's TPS price.
We'll see if he gets the hatchet later on. He certainly does love hatchets, and of course there is one available on Own Me for him to snatch up and use to exactly 0 effect later on in the game.
That's his signature move. Like, it would be cool to actually see, like, if you could still use like the hatchet effect, even if you passed it to someone else. Like, I think someone mentioned that before, but it'd be kind of cool to see. It's like a little bit of layering and versatility. But you see, like, the Hellborn side setting up, trying to get something done mid. But honestly, this is kind of futile because actually they do have the portal key on Pestilence, so actually scrap what I just said. I just thought they needed some way to sort of close the gap, but the Pestilence portal key is enough, and Magnus just a little bit behind Pestilence, because with now Hellborn have the portal key advantage. I'd really like to see them sort of push it, honestly, because they have no initiation really. They can only have counter initiation, that is the Legion. So if Hellborn can get a nice initiation with the Pestilence portal key, I think they can easily take these team fights. Because Magnus doesn't have the possibility to really land a nice eruption combo.
And they don't even need to take the team fights. They need to have the threat of being able to take the team fights. Because as we've seen, they've been rolling his 3 to 4 and allowing Fabelli to just farm out the side lanes, farm out the Ancients, the jungle, wherever it happens to be that he is. That's how he's sitting at nearly 500 gold per minute right now. He's been doing a great job of making use of the farm wherever he is. And so I'm really liking the strategy right now of the guys from Potato. And Marcus Moy, I mean, he's farming all right on the other side, but certainly not going to be anywhere close to where a Soul Stealer is in most cases. But up top, Pestilence is going to be just fine. He's a hard hero to gank if you don't have a stun that's going to catch him wildly off balance.
Yeah, they need the portal key, honestly. Like, Magnus has his portal key now, and that could be like an easy setup. And with this portal key, it's going to be a massive key factor honestly in this game, because not only does it set up the potential for easy ganks here for Legion, but it also offers the potential for team fights as well. They've got the Ophelia, they've got the Rhapsody, they've got all the push they need. They just need to really secure the team fight, and this portal key on Magnus does allow that. I'd maybe even see potentially going in for the tier 1 mid. They might even wait actually for the Nullstone or Marcus and Moy, because he's rather squishy. Only 800 HP because he's gone the sort of noob G route of the Ghost Marchers. I know it's something he does like to go to have extra mobility. But I mean, like, yes, at the same time, the Hellborn have easily able to defend any pushes coming up from instant reflex. So at the moment, it's almost like a stalemate, because they're almost waiting for either side to make a mistake to really capitalize on it, because I don't think either side is really ready to push. But
I think the Legion team is going to go hard right now.
Kraken.
Need to get the pin off of the Skeleton King. That's not going to happen. Kraken. Here comes Magnus, and now the stun's going to be coming in for the Minotaur. Schmexy style there with the follow-up stun, and that's exactly what instant reflex needed. That's a free tier 1, and it should probably be a tier 2 as well. There's no buyout because Kraken did just buy his portal key. They'll trade the tier 1 bottom where Fabelli's down there taking that one, but 2-2 mid for a tier 1 bottom that was already at 50% life. Like, that's a great trade for the Legion any day of the week.
Definitely, and he's still pushing in as well, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get the tier 2s, because I think instant reflex are going to rotate back, and this game is very, very close. 16 minutes in, only separated by like 1,000 gold leads, something you don't honestly see nowadays in Honda. It's a lot more one-sided at this time, but actually instant reflex is going to maybe try and steal some Ancients, or even rotate down, try and catch this Engineer off guard, but they're not going to risk it. They're going to go back into their own jungle. They might have been able to get caught out actually if they were farming those Ancients, so go back to farm it is. I mean, I think they're going to maybe try and wait maybe for another item on Silhouette. I mean, maybe the portal key could definitely be a factor. You saw how quickly they picked off Krebs in the middle lane. If they have the portal key on Silhouette as well, it's going to be even easier to get those pickoffs. And I think they honestly got a little bit lucky. I mean, they were going to be pushing in the tier 1 middle, but I think if they didn't get that secure kill on Kraken, that could have gone a lot worse. Because Potato just decided to just leave the tier 1 after Kraken fell apart, but I think the next team fight is going to be definitely different. Solstice is still farming at 500 GPM. He's closing on his Shrunken Head, and that's going to be a big deal. They have a lot of magic damage here coming up from the Legion side, so that Shrunken Head is going to make a massive difference. One thing I'd like to point out, though, obviously the Log Bolus coming out, or the Tree Grapple coming out from Silhouette, is actually physical now due to the new buffs on him. So obviously there is some way they can sort of lock down this Soul Stealer, which is going to be like a big difference. It's going to be dependent on Marcus Moy to make sure he lands those Tree Grapples. He's going to pick up the portal key now actually, so maybe this is the time for instant reflex to really start taking the tier 1 top perhaps.
Yeah, I think taking that tier 1 top is going to open up a lot of space for roaming throughout the jungle and whatnot. So look for that to be the next target of the Legion team for sure, especially with 2 portal keys and Cthulhu continuing to get bigger. He's at 1,700 gold right now and already gone a pretty tanky core, but what are you expecting Smexy style to go here, really contribute to his team?
I think it's going to be a portal key again, honestly. I mean, when I was in Team Instant Request, they actually loved the initiation and the quick kill because they like taking fights almost 4v5, and I think the portal key on Cthulhu will be almost the extra ability to do that. We see the portal key coming up in Silhouette as well as the portal key on Magnus. Anything to really get the quick kill and done it almost, because that way they can just push forward as 5, and you saw the effectiveness it had in the middle lane, taking out Krebson. And then sort of resulted in 2 tower kills as a result. Actually, bottom lane, Silhouette going in the torch trade. He's most likely going to get the kill. One more attack, no, he can't get it. He's going to have to TP out or illusion out, which it's something you normally see like all good Silhouette players always try and do. Once they get the portal key, they try and get enough farm, always having the illusion just as a sort of safety net if they get into trouble. So it's good sort of use of sort of the Silhouette and always effectiveness.
Yeah, and unfortunately he was not able to get the log to connect right there. Didn't quite execute that combo perfectly, and as a result, you unfortunately don't get the kill on Torture. But it is still going to free up some space for the top push, as Magnus has been pushing this one out, and I don't see the Hellborn team being able to set up in time to actually prevent this push from coming out, so they'll give up one more tower here. This is going to be the 4th tower for the Legion team, and this Ophelia pick is starting to do a little bit as she's picked up
definitely
the Mana Ring, the Astrolabe, and of course contributing a lot to these quick pushes.
Yeah, I just think maybe the timing was a little bit off. Obviously, normally when we see Stay Green, the timing is almost perfect whenever they go for a timed push. The timing is a minute or 2 difference. They do actually lose their tier 1 middle as POTA decides to trade, but Instant Request are still pushing in. Magnus actually with the Invis Rune. This could be a massive deal actually if they do get caught up here.
Yeah, it could be very big indeed, and with the Tornado out there starting to slow everybody down, could make Magnus' job a little bit easier. He's got to be careful dancing around the sides of the vision over here. But looks like the Legion team choosing to back up. This could be the fake back though.
Yeah, Hellborn actually don't have any vision here. They might be able to even get a pick off perhaps. I'd like to see actually Silhouette before, while the Vulture Lord Tornado was still going off. I'd like to see him just right click the tower, because there's no way actually that Hellborn can really initiate on him if the Vulture Lord is on, is still doing work. Actually, they're going in actually on Torturer.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and swap back to the illusion though, and I think this should be a hard disengage. But Pestilence going to be coming in right here, and Soul Stealer with the Shrunken Head activated. Eruption going to be going off in the background here. The Engineer going to be able to get the keg off before he does end up dropping. Here's Marcus Moore coming in, doing the damage, and Kraken going to get the full ultimate off right here onto 4 players. A beautiful ultimate, but there was no follow-up.
Oh, great stuff.
And, well, yeah, the big sun indeed. Pestilence coming on in. They're able to finish off Mr. Magnus, but Marcus Moy getting yet another counter kill himself, and on a big kill, that's Kraken.
Oh,
and
Crab symbol back.
Yeah, buyout on the Kraken, and
that's so big.
Smexy style able to finish off the belly right there. Didn't even catch that one on camera. And now Only in some trouble. He's going to be trying to chase down Ophelia. Going to be having his team come in as well. Smexy style already bailed. I don't think Only's getting out of here.
He might be in trouble. They're going for it. They've got portal key up in 7 seconds. I think this Ophelia is most likely going to be dropping.
Yeah,
Silhouette needs to help him mid lane. Why is he staying? Oh my god, he goes for last hits. He should be fun in the end, but
the balls on this one, like to turn around and just last hit a creep in the face of 3 people chasing him.
Insane. But that was so big though for Instant Request. Not only did they kill the Soul Stealer, but they actually baited out the buyback character from Krebs, and that's going to push him back so far. He does have the portal key already, but he's going to be really far away from the Soul's Bulwark, which is most likely he's going to go for because Pestilence go for the Shrunken Head. And at the moment, it's actually looking really, really good for Instant Reflex. I mean, they did push in the tier 2, got the most important, honestly, I think, is the kill on for Belly. He was farming out of his mind, but actually now it's Marcus and more higher GPM than him now, as well as getting the buyback from Kraken, which is a big deal. deal. It's not the biggest, but I think honestly the kill on Sorcerer is the biggest deal. We've seen Fabelli get out of control, you know, if he doesn't rack up a few deaths, and that man up play by Smexar was absolutely massive. He was in the base while you know, the enemy team is sort of chasing Ophelia. He charges and gets the final hit onto Fabelli, and in the end he actually survives as well. So really, really well played count from Smexar. And yeah, instant reflex are looking really, really good. Something I wasn't expecting, but you know.
But you're pleasantly surprised for your boys.
I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm glad my old team are doing very well. It's good to see. They were having success after I leave, but maybe there's a coincidence there. I'm not sure, but
oh no, the self-deprecation is here.
Maybe. But yeah, it's looking honestly really, really good for instant reflex. The only little issue I have though is when it gets into the late game, because I think Hellborn have a superior late game without a doubt. They've got the Pestilence, Soul Stealer, and the good team fight coming out from Kraken and Engineer that really do scale well into the late game. When in fact it's only really the Silhouette and maybe the Cthulhu. And yeah, Magnus does do a little bit in the late game, but compare it to Hellborn's side, I think Hellborn will definitely have the advantage here when it gets into the late game. So I think instant reflex really do need to get a bit more of an advantage if they are going to take this game, because as long as they could do one of two things. Either they can almost win the game in the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes, which is unlikely, or get such a big lead, so when it does get into the late game, they have such a big advantage that it doesn't matter that the hero composition on Hellborn is actually higher or better in terms of the late game. So that's honestly one of the two things I think instant reflex will need to do if they're going to take this game on of the series.
Yeah, gonna need to see the continued aggression coming out. But right now, Marcus Moy's taking a break. And I'm going to take this opportunity to go get some water. So I'll be right back, Mini Maggot and crew. I'm going to continue talking as I walk away.
Do you have like a... It's like a water cooler. It's like 7 PM in England, so it's pretty chilly outside. But yeah, the only problem is the secondary supports like Engineer and Torturer are really, really quite underfarmed compared to the secondary support like Akami on the field. He obviously has the Astrolabe and Mana Ring, and that makes a big difference, honestly, having the Astrolabe advantage. But yeah, it does look like we're about to get back into this game. Marcus Amoy is back and ready to go.
It's about damn time.
So we are back underway. We do have... Cthulhu does picked up his portal catch and he's 2,000 gold in stock as well. I most likely hope to see actually a bulwark coming out from him, because it's all the team. They're doing a lot of team fighting at the moment, and I'd like to see obviously more of those team fight oriented items. Magnus picks up the tablet. Obviously, more team fight items. Just anything else to really improve their team fight potential would be needed. So bulwark on Cthulhu would be needed, or would be nice to see. Pestilence closing on his Strong head as well, about 1,300 away from it, and that could definitely be a big issue as well. So the only Strong head on Hellborn actually is the Soul Stealer, so the magic damage from instant reflex is doing quite a bit in terms of his team fights, but once it gets into the late game, as we said before, it's going to cause a little bit of a problem here for instant reflex. I don't know if Beef is back, but I will continue nonetheless. See Silhouette here farming the Triple Snake Ancients, whether you can see it or not on the camera, but it sounds like Beef is back. Beef, are you back?
Sorry.
Back. You hydrated.
We got our puppy like 2 days ago, and so we discussed puppy things for just a moment. The rough life of puppydom. But Silhouette's just like taking Ancients like a boss. She doesn't care that she doesn't have lifesteal or anything.
Yeah, I wonder what actually the second item here coming out, or the third item coming out from Marcus Moy. He does have a varied item build. He normally always goes the Nullstone Portal Key. That's almost core regardless of what start he actually has. But after this, he goes either Shield Breaker. I even see him sometimes go the Geomet's Bane as well. But I think we might see the Shield Breaker here. But he is saving up gold. He might even go the Wing Bow as well. I mean, he does go a varied iron build depending on who he's going against. And I think the Wing Bow could work potentially. Although the Soul Stealer will most likely be going a Savage Mace if he does decide to do that. But he's storing up 4,000 gold. So maybe just depending on what he's going to go as well.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to Savage Mace himself actually.
Yeah. Or Doombringer. No, it's going to be Savage Mace. There you go, the 24-minute Doombringer. His Engineer's in a lot of trouble. Lava Surge going to be coming out right here. And Rhapsody follows it up with the stuns. Engineer able to get a couple spells off right before he does go down. but just the sheer positioning from Engineer right there is going to lead the Legion to believe that he might have been trying to get a ward off. But I'm pretty sure that they could see that he didn't actually get that ward off. And they're not going to be too worried. And with that hero down for another 7 seconds, they're surely going to look to Kongor. No. Unfortunately, he's so low level that that pickoff really doesn't matter in the long run.
They're actually going in.
They
should
are
not be
actually
doing
going to go
this.
Kongor.
This is really, really risky.
It's a DD
And this is one
silhouette.
thing-
They'll kill this in 15 seconds.
Hellborn actually don't have vision of this actually, so this could be a potentially good play, but it's very, very risky actually. I think this tornado actually coming out from Akami's thingy might be something that sort of let them know that they're doing Kongo, but this Kongo is dropping very, very quickly, and Pestilence and Kraken are in no position to take this. So they actually are going to get this Kongo. I'm very surprised they got that. But that's going to be a massive pickup, particularly on Silhouette. Almost, we talk about how, you know, Doctor, Repulsor and Torture are very good token of life carriers, but Silhouette as well, or any sort of carry here that has the potential to sort of initiate in and get quick kills, because obviously you have that extra bit of safety in it, as well as his illusion as well. So most likely we'll see Marksmore playing a little bit more ballsy, trying to get the pickups on the Torture as well as the Engineer. So most likely to see that in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta say, Marcus has been impressing me. Like, I've always been impressed by his Silhouette. He's carried me in TMM quite a few times with his Silhouette, but continuing to look good right here. Although on the other side for Belly, he's already finished up his Shrunken Head, as we saw in the last team fight. He's actually going to be relatively close to a Geometer's Bane pretty dang soon here. So that's going to be quite good, and multiple Shrunken Heads going to be coming out by way of the Kraken as well as the Pestilence here in the next couple of minutes. So the aggressive potential of the Cthulhuphant and the Magnus going to start to be mitigated quite severely as these 9-10 second Shrunken Heads are in, and Cthulhuphant could be looking to set up a stun, but he's actually going to fall back, not knowing what's over there. There's no ward vision for the Legion team in that area, so got to be extremely careful.
Yeah, like going back to obviously the Shrunken Head pickup on Pestilence, and Cthulhuphant obviously got that change to his Stream of Madness, so that's not obviously going to play a big deal now, just because the two cores aren't really going to be effective, and obviously controlling or CCing the enemy cores is the most important factor when it comes to crowd controlling, obviously. So the Shrunken Head actually on Pestilence and Solstice is going to be a massive difference, and this could be the telling of who's going to win this team fight. Actually, Silhouette going in.
And Silhouette is going to go in indeed. Ports out immediately. Baits 2 Shrunken Heads, though.
So
that's
well
huge. That's a 9 and a 10-second Shrunken Head.
They should go right now.
And yeah, the Legion team going to go forward. Engineer going to be taken out immediately. And then that's going to be an immediate follow-up tier 2 tower. They should be able to take high ground off this as well.
They might even be able to take a high ground as well. That was really well played. Shrunken's are down, Engineer's down as well. That's honestly really well played. And obviously maybe I've been a little bit biased, but you saw the effect it had. Like Solstice and Pestilence instantly popped their Shrunken Heads, and Instant Reapers were like, okay, yeah, we're just back off, and they're actually not finished. They might be trying to go and get some more, but yeah, like you saw, like after they backed off, like Solstice and Pestilence couldn't really stay in the fight anyway, so they just left Engineer to die because they would have been going. That's
here
going
comes
in.
Pestilence, going to be able to get the stun off immediately, but Onmi is going to be in a lot of trouble in the background. Favelli is going to be taking a ton of damage. Rhapsody going to be able to get the big protective melody off. Favelli going to be going down as well, and the energy field's just not doing anything. The Legion team just going to be continuing to move on up. The stun coming in from Magnus, and Marcus Moore putting in the hands. He's going to be able to get a hat trick right here, and the Legion team should be able to easily convert this into a tower. They still have the Token of Life right here, and with no buybacks available, this should be racks. This could even be game.
The Legion have destroyed
I mean,
Hellborn Tower.
clearly something's working with Instant Reflex now today, because they're really looking on point. They had a little bit of a shaky start, honestly, to the laning phase, I have to say. Maybe a few misplays coming out from Smexastyle and Marcus, but still, I mean, in the end, it doesn't even matter. They're so far ahead right now. 13,000 gold, 13,000 experience, and almost everything they've done while the laning phase has really, really impressed me. And they've played almost perfectly, and against, like, obviously, this isn't like a bad team, obviously, in terms of potatoes. These are legends, pretty much, like as you said before. And they're almost getting crushed. Like, it's just something I think themselves aren't really expecting. Instant Reflex, yeah, they're, you know, somewhat of an up-and-coming team, but in the end, definitely not proven yet.
I mean, I wouldn't discount the guys from Instant Reflex. I mean, you've put in a lot of work. The other guys here have put in a lot of work as well. And I mean, I would say that it's safe to say that, at least in the Carnage and Kaldivar event, you guys were a top 3 amateur team, you know, which would put you in probably the top 10 overall teams, considering there are 6 teams that were in the pro division. Like, very well could be a team that we're going to see in Diamond. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Instant Reflex in Diamond.
Hope to see, but I mean, this game's still not over, and obviously, actually, see Magma's going in the bottom lane. He might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Ophelia sent back, actually. Ophelia's most likely going to pay with her life, but Magma's most likely going to get out. TP's
Well,
coming actually. Ophelia might be in
TPs,
trouble.
And Ophelia going to turn around and man up. Shrunken Head going to be going off. There's 1 and 2 Shrunken Heads, in fact, as Rhapsody and Ophelia are both going to fall. Marcus Moy going to be in a lot of trouble right here, as he is... well, going to be doing quite a bit of damage, but he's going to go down. Here comes the Token of Life, though, and down goes 4 players from the Hellborn squad. They're looking for the 5th, but they're not going to find it. And that was the tale of the Hellborn team focusing all over Marcus Moy, and all of a sudden, Smexy Style and Niez, or whatever the heck his name is, he comes in, and they're just landing stuns. They're just putting in damage. And allowing Marcus Moy to come back up after the Token of Life, and just does work.
Yeah, and like we talked about how how strong Marcus Moy's silhouette is, and it's showing here now. Like, I mean, there's a reason why everyone knows about Marcus Moy's silhouette is because he's just so strong on it, and regardless of whether he's playing Tim in or he's playing competitive, regardless of who he's playing against, he's going to have a strong performance. And this might even be racked as well. Soul's still down for 20 seconds. Pestilence is up, but they are going to just back off. I talked about definitely about how when you're ahead, it's all about playing the risky plays. Whenever I was captain, I always drummed it in the game. They always used to call me like an absolute sort of pussy and saying I play too defensive. But I think it's the right play here. I mean, you're most likely going to take this game as long as no throws are going to happen. They've got the bottom racks already. They're really far ahead in terms of golden XP. They just need to make sure they just go as 5 and make sure they don't throw this game, because I think essentially this game is definitely in their hands.
Oh, absolutely. As a wing both finished up here on Silhouette as well, all of a sudden she's sitting at a full 500 range. So we often see this item on Moon Queen just because of the extended range, and all of a sudden Silhouette's back up to almost where she was 6 months ago. But at the same time, all of her other abilities have gotten boosted significantly. She's going to chug a double damage here as well. And it looks like the melee racks in the middle lane are just going to get annihilated. Although Chain Reaction Stun going to be coming in here and swaps out to the illusion immediately. Stun's going to be coming in. Magnus was able to get out of there. The elephant going to go ahead and head on in, though. Activates the aura, and everybody needs to be a little bit more careful. The ultimate going to be coming out from Kraken and Soul Stealer, but it's just not doing anything. Magnus with the perfectly timed stun as well. He is actually going to be taken out, but unfortunately, Soul Stealer is going to go down here. One more hit indeed. He is going to go down, right? No. Gets the portal key into the well, and maybe the Legion team is actually overextended just a little bit too much. Ophelia going to be charged backward outside of the Rhapsody ultimate, and now Rhapsody is going to be in a little bit of trouble as well. Ophelia has already fallen, but Cthulhu's going to be able to get a kill on the Kraken, ideally, right? There it is, Frostfield Plate. Going to be able to finish it off, and when did Marcus Moy actually die? I did not notice him dying.
He ported back in, and he only had half HP, and the Kraken ultimate and the Pestilence stun was just enough to take him out. I mean, he's only got 1500 HP if you actually think about it. It's just really hard to lock him down, but once he's locked down, obviously, it does make a big difference. And Smexstar might be overextended in this lane, but he does portal key out in time. But in the end, iRex does get the second melee racks actually now, so they've got the middle racks as well as the bottom racks. So I mean, the top racks is the only thing left to be taken, I guess. I mean, they did almost maybe potentially lose that team fight there, but in the end, they're still 15,000 gold a lead ahead, 13,000 XP up, and I mean, still they're looking in a great spot to take this to a game 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this Ophelia pickup, I think it's actually done a pretty phenomenal amount of work. I think Okami really has shown the value of this pickup in the aggression that the guys here from Instant Reflex have been consistently playing out. The itemization, all relatively aggressive itemization, early mid-game, aura-based, and just really leaning toward exactly the way that iRex have been playing this. So really liking that.
I just give Akami a hard time because we're like best mates. But
There you go.
yeah, definitely. I think in the earlier stages he had maybe a little bit of a harder time, but I feel he does actually. Top lane Engineer's going to go down to Silhouette. Can she get the spell off out of time? Of course she can.
And
Is it a
baits
she
the
or a
Kraken
he?
ultimate. It's a she.
Is it? It's a she. Okay. And actually, they're going in again. Actually, Kraken might be in trouble. Look at that damage, and he's still not done.
I think
Oh,
she
is he
might
over-
actually be
over-
done. Never mind. Magnus is going to be coming on in. Nice stun coming in from Pestilence, but that could be actually a forfeit on his life as the tree grapple on forward from Silhouette. The Sky Dance coming on in. She's got a portal key in 1 second, but not going to actually use that, instead porting into the middle lane to clean up a little bit of farm before she ports back up to the top lane to complete her push. Just kidding. The illusion has despawned. Sad days indeed.
Yeah, and this is the main thing about what Silhouette is so strong is that actually they're going in Kraken.
Yeah, there's unfortunately no Kraken ultimate, and Pestilence now going to be having to run away. Shrunken Head does not save him from the damage that is a Silhouette right click, but nice stun comes in, and he does go down. Torturer falls as well. Fabelli has to portal key on away. I would not be surprised if they see Cheese any second, and there they are. The guys from Potato, the legends of old.